And now let's meet the 6 finalists for today's action. In 6th place, the former Collegiate Bowler of the Year, Michelle Mullen. In 5th place, 17-year pro, Lori Nichols. In 4th place, 1988 Player of the Year, Lisa Wagner. In 3rd place, hometown favorite, Robin Romeo. In 2nd place, top accuracy bowler, Paula Drake. And in 1st place, the power and speed of Renee Fleming. Hello, I'm Steve Grant. Welcome to our telecast. We're delighted you're with us as Sports Channel America brings you the LPBT Winter Tour. We'll have top ladies bowling action for you for the next 4 weeks. Our expert commentator is a woman you know from the bowling tour. She's a top member herself, Leila Wagner. And Leila, I must tell you, the scores this week have been so incredibly high, it took a record to qualify.
That's right, Steve. It took a record-breaking 212 average to qualify for the top 24. Also, 2 other records were broken this week. There are 2 things that contributed to these high scores. 1, the fact that the lane conditioning procedures were good, and 2, the fact that the channels sit higher here at Canoga Park Bowl, which enables better carry and higher scores.
Oh, absolutely proven out all week. Good mix from all the bowlers. And by the way, you noticed at the beginning of our telecast, we have 6 finalists. We have 2 hours of bowling, so we have an extra match for you, and that gives one of the players a chance to make some more money.
That's right. If you qualify number 6, you can go all the way to the top if it's your day.
Okay. We've got high scores all week. We expect them today. Good close matches as we begin the winter tour here with the Canoga Park Classic. And we'll be back with our first match between Michelle Mullen and Lori Nichols after this. Welcome back to Canoga Park Lanes as we're about to start the winter tour for the LPBT. The $30,000 Canoga Park Classic with Leila Wagner. I'm Steve Grad, and there is Michelle Mullen, her first time on television.
That's right, Steve. Michelle has a really nice game. If she can stay free and loose with that arm swing, she should do well.
Pocket hit starts with a strike.
A good start to put the pressure on veteran Lori Nichols.
A couple of Illinoisans here. Lori from Algonquin, where she owns her own bowling center and runs it. He says, by running that center, I don't have to work out or anything. That's plenty of exercise. Her first frame is a strike 3.
You'll notice Lori did get a new optometrist this week. She figured anything had to change her luck. In the past few television attempts, she's not had the luck go for her, and finishing 2nd in the Seagram's U.S. Open last year was her highest finish. She said, hey, I'll do anything to try to win.
Not bad earnings last year, as you can see.
Another good pocket shot by Lori Nichols, putting the pressure now on Michelle.
Michelle led in the early rounds of this tournament and was really the hot item around Southern California when it came to sports.
She really was. Yesterday, in the 2nd round of match play, Steve, she bowled incredibly. She had a 300, 280 games, a 260 game. She just couldn't miss.
There she misses with a high hit. And that 6-pin is taunting her up there. She's down by 10 if she makes the spare.
Letting up a little bit on her ball speed here, Steve. The ball didn't hold the line as it breaks in high through the head pin, leaving her with pretty easy 6-pin spare. I think the key for Michelle is going to be keeping her ball speed up, keeping her arm swing loose.
She's maturing as a player. She began in the summer of '87, and as she gains confidence, she can do things like this, 300.
Well, in 2 tournaments, I've seen her shoot those 300 games, so she can throw the strikes.
This is her 3rd frame. And on the spare, she makes the strike.
I like Michelle's game. She just pushes the ball down very quickly, good form, down low at the line, and really straps through the ball. A very strong girl.
Lori Nichols with her classic style. Straight ball. A turkey to start.
Well, Lori is definitely more of a direct player than Michelle Mullen. However, the results are the same, as you can see here. A lot of pin action, rotation as the head pin comes off the wall, And that was just great ball reaction there.
Did the low channels, the high channels rather, help something kick back that, knock the kingpin down? That 5 was staying for a while.
Not really on that shot there. You see more of the results from the high channels when you leave a 6-pin in the channel. It will pop out and get to 10 a lot easier.
That time it was a solid pocket hit and a 4-bagger to start for Lori Nichols. She's up by 30. And we'll return to Canoga Park for the $30,000 Canoga Park Classic to start the winter tour right after this. In her 4th frame, working on a strike, and she trails by 30 pins.
Shell looking for her first double. And there it was. Now, the only difference there, Steve, between the 4th frame and the 2nd frame on lane 10 was her ball speed. So, like I said before, if she keeps that up, she'll be able to throw a lot of strikes together. You can't get too much better than this.
No.
Pretty quiet girl. She's talking to him.
Michelle said the major change in her game is her rhythm and pace, and this past fall she established a 4-step approach, and she says be very comfortable now.
Well, she has a 4-step approach, and she pushes the ball away very quickly, and she just gets it into motion, and I think that really does help her tempo.
She's got a turkey, and she's cut the lead of Lori Nichols down to 10 pins. Lori working on a 4-bagger. Lori averaging 220 in this tournament, winning 16 and losing 8 match play games.
Looking for number 5 and almost getting the light hit.
A little bit light, leaving the 7. The light hits have been carrying, however, here earlier in the week.
Well, Steve, the light hits have carried here and the heavy hits have carried here. A lot of the hits carried here. Looking for that action off the head pin, however, it came off, and it should have really got that 7. Came off the wall there.
13 pro titles for this lady. She won the 1972 U.S. Open.
This is her 51st appearance on television, so she does have a lot of television experience.
Leading by 9 pins, Lori Nichols in her 6th frame.
Lori started bowling at the young age of 7. She's currently 37 years old, and she stands 5'6". She uses all that power, goes into her bowling ball.
We were talking about some of the higher hits converting, and that was an example.
Yes, it was. That 4-pin just fell backwards as the high hit carried. Give you a chance to see how the 4-pin is just going to fall to the back. But it carried.
Now Michelle with a turkey, trying to extend it. Yes. Michelle Mullen has an interesting delivery. She snaps that right hand, and her left hand, instead of staying out on the follow-through, snaps back in front of her body, too.
Well, those left hands that we have out there are strictly for balance, Steve. As you'll see later on in our telecast, Renee Fleming doesn't even use her left arm. It stays low to her side. So, really, it doesn't matter what you do to your left arm as long as it keeps you in balance.
Michelle knows she has to improve her concentration on the Pro Tour in order to be successful, but she's been successful enough now, as you see our scoreboard. And Michelle Mullen with a 1-pin lead now. She's overtaken Nichols and has strung her strikes to 5. An 11-pin lead. We have a tight one here at Canoga Park to start our winter tour, and we'll be back with more action right after this. A good look at Lori Nichols as she begins her 7th frame. She's working on a strike.
Lori just looking to carry the rest of the way here. I know she has to in order to keep the pressure on Michelle. If she lets up, it could be Michelle's ball game.
Lori has a strike in every frame but the 5th, where she left the 7th pin and converted the spare. And she's down by 1 pin now. She only brings 2 bowling balls to this tournament. She's not a believer in bringing a different ball or using them anyway.
Using them. I know she's got about at least 8 here with her right now, Steve. Most of the touring players carry anywhere from 8 to 16 bowling balls with them out on tour. We never know what kind of conditions we're going to hit. And that was a awful break for Lori. Not even a break, I should say. An awful, what should we say?
Almost a catastrophe with the 9 still standing on that hit.
I tell you what, this ball was driving so hard in the back end. As you can see here, the ball is supposed to take out that 9 pin, but it's just going to go right to the left, and there leaves the 9 pin.
There's her reaction to it. Now she's going to try to cover it, and she does. So she gets her spare.
Definitely a bad break for Lori.
Michelle is up by 2 pins.
Michelle's high finish so far in the LPBT is 8th, so she's already beaten that finish.
She's had a 9th also and a 10th. Those were her top ones.
Oh!
The 10 stays. A tap.
The ringing 10, as we say, Steve, that 6-pin just flew around the 10. Ball driving a little hard into the back end, just throwing the 6 around the 10 leaves for a bad break for Michelle.
Well, you can't get much closer than this one.
No, we can't. This is a great opening match for our winter tour. Michelle Mullen leading by just 1 pin going into the 9th frame.
She had a 5-bagger before this frame. Michelle, who certainly knows that it's a lot different than when she was college bowler of the year. The competition is tougher, and you bowl 42 games prior to coming into the television show. You've got to have endurance, so she trains with aerobics, and she utilizes a bike and a rowing machine.
Looking for that 9th frame strike. She let it out.
Little light.
Far, and she's looking for the break there. Didn't get it. The pin rolling around on the deck. Hitting way outside of her target on that shot, Steve. The ball came back, really didn't hit with as much authority as she would have liked to. Here you can see the ball going way out to about the 4th board and then coming back, and as it comes back, it's almost what we say rolled out.
She covers it. So we're even. Michelle is really, even though she's between a stroker and a cranker, she hooks it the most of all the finalists today, that's for sure.
Lori can shut Michelle out, Steve, if she gets 4 strikes in a row. Michelle won't have a chance. Looking for the 1 in the 9th, going for the light hit, and the 7-pin stays. It's going to come down to whatever the player does in the 10th frame. However, at this point, Lori cannot shut Michelle out. Michelle holds her own destiny.
And that's the way it should be if it's an even match all the way down to the end. Lori Nichols, who makes her adjustments with speed, very difficult thing to do, but a veteran of 17 years is able to do it. Very important spare.
Speed was critical this week. You really needed to keep your speed up to help keep the ball on the line. Now Lori looking for 2 strikes at least and good count to force Michelle 2 strikes. She would like to have all 3.
Here it comes. Light. Still made it.
A light hit. Got the pin action there. As you said earlier, the light hits do have a tendency to carry. And Lori looking for strike number 2. As you can see here, her previous shot. Lori playing right around the 7-8 board. The ball coming up just at the last minute, and the 5-pin kicking out. She gets it. She helped it.
That 5-pin can really taunt you, or it could be the big savior as it was on that strike.
Looking for strike number 2, pulling inside her target. That time it looked like a little stronger shot. She's smiling because she knows that she definitely hit inside, but that's where the ball speed held her line and she was able to strike. Lori has the possibility of a 247 game. Michelle can still shoot 248.
Lori trying to strike out, and she does.
And that's the veteran, Lori Nichols, with 51 career television appearances. Struck out for 247, forcing Michelle to get all 3 to win. 2 strikes and 9 will tie.
First time on television for Michelle Mullen. No mistakes. No mistakes. It's over.
Good shot. She really did keep up her speed. She hit the pocket and left the 4-pin. As you can see here, Michelle's ball really didn't go out as far as it did on that one shot we talked about. Breaking in real high, the head pin coming off the wall, hitting the 7, but not tripping the 4. An unfortunate break here for Michelle Mullen. Her first time on television. Her mom is in the audience, Jackie Mullen. Really didn't matter on that spare because she didn't need it anyway.
And she finished with a 226, losing to Lori 247 to 226. We're going to have our next match as Lori Nichols will move up the ladder, so stay with us. We'll return to Canoga Park right after this. We are back at the Canoga Park Classic in Canoga Park, California, and Lisa Wagner and Lori Nichols will be in our second match. Lori Nichols having defeated Michelle Mullen 247 to 226 in our first match. So she's warmed up and in a groove. She struck out to win. She used all the wily experience that she had as a pro on her 18th year on the tour and finished the rookie, or the young bowler in the show. And she starts with a pocket hit that knocks them all down.
Well, Lisa, qualifying in a higher position, Steve, has chosen Lori to start the match, therefore putting the pressure on Lori if it comes down to the 10th frame. Lori, it'll be up to her if she can win, if it gets that close. Lisa's adjusting the feel of her ball. Looked like she added a piece of tape there.
Bowling is so scientific. There's her average for the week. People may not realize that women adjust with the weights and the different, the width of the hole in the ball. It's not just a matter of picking it up and rolling it correctly.
No, it's not. The feel is so important. You must have a good feel. You want the exact feel every time. First good look at Lisa Wagner, our 1988 Player of the Year. She topped the $100,000 mark with a career earnings of not career, 88 earnings of $105,000. Remarkable for ladies professional bowling.
21 pro titles, 6 last year. 5 300 games.
Lisa's game is so big. They're like down the boards and in, not a lot of swing, and all around a great athlete.
She had so many second place finishes. Everybody was gunning for her.
They were back in 85. Lori Nichols, I believe it was 85. She could not lose on television. Nobody wanted to bowl her, and then it just turned, the tide turned for her, and she just couldn't win.
Little high. Bad split. Oh, man.
Once again, speed being a crucial point in today's telecast. Letting up on her speed, her ball could not hold the line. Now, she hit right where she wanted to, right around the 9-10 board, but the ball just hooked sharply because it was going too slow. Trying to help it. Oh, no.
6, 7, 10 there. Let's see if she can work on it. So she has an open frame in the 3rd frame here against Lisa Wagner that could be deadly.
Lisa really felt last year was just, you know, obviously her banner year, but she said just everything seemed to go my way. When she was down, people would just, you know, fall over, and she was able to win, and other times she just bowled great.
We should point out she was in an automobile accident in mid-November. Her left ankle was injured.
Ooh.
Man, oh man, she leaves the 9.
We saw that left in the previous game by Lori Nichols. Here's a good look at Lisa's game, that 5-step approach, using all the approach, perfect head position, strong wrist, low to line, and great release. That's the $100,000 form right there.
The leverage on some of the pros that you see is just phenomenal. The women do not have the same arm strength as the men, just physiologically, but the leverage is amazing.
And Steve, we get the leverage by our footwork. That's where we get our speed. Most of the professionals do take 5 steps. There are a few that take 4. However, speed is so critical with the women professionals.
She's up by 14. You see how she's done this week. And again, that ankle does bother her in the morning. Sometimes it's a little stiff till she warms up. But after a while, she gets in the groove and doesn't think about it. But it was happening in November, and they said it would take 4 full months for it to be completely healed. She's a tough athlete.
Oh, she really is. And, you know, it's a shame when something like that hinders you. However, as you can see this week, she's once again on the telecast, so couldn't have hurt her too bad.
She starts with a double, then a spare, and then a strike. So, in our second match, Lisa Wagner and Lori Nichols, in progress, will return to Canoga Park right after this. Steve Grant and Lisa Wagner with you for the opening of the winter tour. The LPBT, Lori Nichols trails by 14. She has already defeated Michelle Mullen.
Bowling a 247 game in the first match.
And the dinner bucket greets her.
She really carried quite a few light hits, Steve. And once again on lane 10, talking to the players a little bit before the telecast, they said lane 10 seemed a little bit tighter, and Lori doesn't seem to be getting the break on that lane as she is on lane 9.
Now, what's the most important part on this to get the 8? What does she have to do?
Well, she wants to hit this very direct. Most players are going to try to go a little direct now. A lot of turn towards it. That's a good cover. You want to hit between the 4 and the 5 pin. Give you an exact look at how to pick it up here. Want to hit right between that, the 2 and the 5. And then you'll cover the 8.
She has enough speed where that ball was knocked far off to the right. Would have missed it.
You want to be careful not to chop it.
There's a nice clean pocket hit. So Lori Nichols, after an open frame and a spare, has gotten a strike.
Lisa checking the rack, making sure that all the pins are on spot. Occasionally the pins will come down. They won't be on spot. Player will take a re-rack.
Of course, her husband, Kent, is a pro bowler and a part-time race car driver, and she's the crew chief in the pit. And you know how she keeps in shape when she travels with him?
No.
The aerobic tapes.
Oh, got to carry those with you. Not quite sure why Lisa turned around there. She asked a question or what? Now, that's an example of the high channels there, but Lisa did hit inside her target, and the ball really didn't finish hard enough. See here, hitting probably around the 12 board where she's playing actually a little farther out before. The ball skating, not breaking hard enough. The 6 pin just sits in the channel. Gives the 10 a little tap, but not hard enough.
Good look at the concentration on her eyes as she covers the spare.
Lisa starting out this tournament a little bit farther down the ladder. She was in 14th after the first round and went into 11th for the next 2, 5th, 4th, and here she is. Seems that she starts out slow and then comes on strong.
"27 years old, and she's still soaring to the top of her game. First woman to win over $100,000, as we mentioned earlier.
Oh, and a high hit there. Head pin going against the wall and leaving herself with a 4 pin.
A lot of people viewing may not realize, though many of the bowlers do, but a lot don't realize that everybody in this tour pays their own way. They're away from their families, their children. It's on-the-road life, and you have to concentrate on your career right here. Not all glamour.
No, it's definitely not all glamour, Steve. The expenses run anywhere from $500 to $700 a week for the players. Some players have sponsors. Other players sponsor themselves. Lori Nichols and Lisa Wagner both do sponsor themselves. It's, like you said, not an easy life. Live out of a suitcase in a hotel room.
Lori trailing by 13, a light hit, but gets the good mix there.
Closing the gap to 3 pins. Here, once again, lane 10, the ball's not quite breaking as much, but she hits a little bit harder, getting a few more revolutions. The head pin flying against the wall and mixing up all those pins.
And Lori with a double. However, we were talking about what they do get out of it. The gratification is the love of the sport. When you're competitive, you're addicted to it as a pro, I imagine.
Oh, you are. It's tough to get away from it. There, Lori just struck to go ahead of Lisa Wagner by 7 pins.
With that turkey, she goes on top. And we'll be back for more action from Canoga Park, California to begin the winter tour right after this. We're watching a match between two of the toughest veterans in this tour. Lisa Wagner, who you see on the screen, and Lori Nichols. And now Lisa's trailing by 7 pins as she begins her 7th frame. She's had 2 spares in a row.
Come on, Lisa!
Nice fill that time.
Well, Steve, you mentioned veterans. Well, there are 104 television appearances between these two finalists. And I think Lisa knows this was a strike. Just a perfect pocket hit. Yeah. No 9-pin on that shot, as we saw her lead previously in the 3rd frame.
69 players entered this tournament, and now we're down to the top 5, as Lori Nichols has already eliminated Michelle Mullen.
Lisa looking for the double, and that is a powerful shot right there. She just threw the head pin against the wall.
How does a little body like that get so much speed? Knee bend and leverage, is that?
Knee bend leverage. Lisa's very tall, though. She stands 5'6", has a long arm swing, and that helps get that power.
Lori Nichols with a 4-bagger maintains a 7-pin lead.
Lisa looking to keep Lori looking to keep the pressure on Lisa, wanting to strike here in the 9th frame. If she does strike here, Lisa cannot close her out.
These are great lanes for Lori because the tight lanes where she has to slow it down, that's when she gets spooked a little bit, although she's capable of adjusting. But these have been just good to her.
They have been so far. She looks for the strike in the 9th. I'm not quite sure if that ball was going high as she leaned a little to the left. It did carry that high hit. Now a chance for Lisa to force Lori to hold her own destiny. You can see here a good look at Lori's game. Not a lot of knee bend. She's kind of leaning.
Now Lisa in the 9th frame, trying for a turkey.
The setup strike, as we say, just nails lane 10. Lisa Wagner has a possible 248. Lori Nichols can shoot 255. Right now, Lisa Wagner needs all of them.
She has outstanding timing, and that arm swing is so spectacular to watch. She'll need it all right now, however.
She's great in the clutch.
Come on, Lisa!
Right in the pocket. When she needs it, it's there for her. She gets a 4-bagger.
Looking for one more.
She goes up by 3. We've had 2 close matches to begin our winter tour. No question about it, Lori Nichols struck out to eliminate Michelle Mullen in the first match.
One more strike forces Lori Nichols to double.
Even though it was high, it was powerful enough and carried through.
It was high, and Lisa was waving that to the right. But once again, ball speed here. Holds the ball on the line. Lisa's kind of saying, stay there, and it just crunched them.
Body language so important afterwards.
That's right. Now she's looking for pin count. However, those 2 strikes were the important ones. She needs to basically keep it on the lane to force Lori Nichols to strike out to win.
Very light, but she leaves 3. And a 245 for Lisa Wagner.
Now, 6 count there would have hurt her. However, 7 pins gave her enough to force Lori Nichols to get 2 strikes to win.
This is what you like to see, though. 2 veterans. 2 ladies who have been to the championship many times. They hold their own destiny. Yes. She gets the kingpin to fall. Oh, man.
Looking for the break, the light hit. That 5-pin definitely fell forward. Now, lane 10 has not been Lori's favorable lane as she hits right on her target, but the ball's actually skating, not driving real hard. And I don't know really what came out of that pit, but that 5-pin barely went.
The 3 whipped around it, actually. She needs this one. She needs it. Oh, there's the 10. That's it.
Not a real strong hit. It's going to be a 1-pin match as Lisa Wagner will win this match 245. Lori picks us up for 244. Lane 10 really did give Lori quite a bit of problems. She was carrying a light hit on it, but because it was tighter, it wasn't driving hard enough, and that's why she left that 10-pin.
So Lori Nichols will exit, and she'll take home $1,500 for 5th place. Robin Romeo will be next against Lisa Wagner. Stay with us. We'll be back for more action from Canoga Park right after this. A good look at Robin Romeo, the local favorite here from Van Nuys, California. She warms up. You know, Robin has had a bad shoulder injury, and to get a little more information about it, Leila spoke with her prior to tonight.
Robin, a shoulder injury early December. Tell us what happened and how did you make it back so quickly?
Well, yeah, I really don't know exactly what happened, but I did separate my shoulder. I laid off about 3 weeks, and I started bowling back with a 12-pound ball. And it was only a couple of weeks ago that I did start back, and I'm surprised that I did so well due to the fact that I didn't have that much time to prepare.
Well, obviously the crowd favorite here. You have a bowling pro shop. You practice all the time. I'm sure that's going to help in your confidence going into tonight's final round.
Yes, it is. I wanted to make the show real bad because it is my hometown, and it is a little added pressure, but I'm trying to go out there and not let that bother me. But I will have the crowd behind me, which will help a lot.
Well, good luck, Robin. Now back to you, Steve.
Thank you, Leila. We're ready to go. Robin Romeo on the left, Lisa Wagner on the right. Robin came in 3rd. And, you know, it's interesting. She also, a few years ago, had a wrist injury. She had no idea how that happened either.
Well, that's true. Robin has been plagued with the injuries in the past, Steve, and she's just come out of them so well. Last year, she never missed our top 24 finals. She hit every one of them. Just an outstanding player there all the time.
And now Lisa Wagner, who eliminated Lori Nichols by 1 pin, starts with a strike.
Lisa, after 1 match under her belt, is looking a little tougher now as she comes out.
Robin also shading her eyes to the light here at the Canoga Park lanes and the extra television light. 31 years old, living in Van Nuys.
You'll start hearing the crowd cheer for Robin as she throws the ball.
She couldn't get that high one to make them all go down.
Robin, a 5-step approach, also very basic, just letting the ball down, perfect head position, low to the line, and there you see a great shot of the knee bend, the leverage, and the extension.
This is one lady who very seldom changes the speed of her ball.
Robin really doesn't have the speed that some of the other players like Lisa Wagner or Renee Fleming do have on the telecast, but her accuracy and her knowledge of the game. She knows equipment. She has a pro shop here at Canoga Park Bowl, and I think just all that knowledge goes into her equipment. She's able to overcome that speed.
Good timing. She makes good hand adjustments, too, at the line at the last minute. That saves her a lot.
That's a natural instinct that Dick Weber, I believe, and all the legendary pros have always been able to do is make those quick hand adjustments.
Is that from
muscle memory. You know, you practice over and over and over again, and finally your own wrist and your own hand will know what to do even if your brain didn't work on that shot.
I think so, Steve. It's instinct. And once again, you hit the line. If you're a little fast or you're a little slow, your wrist position just kind of makes up for the difference.
Lisa's second frame, very high Brooklyn side, working on a strike, and leaves 3-6.
That ball hooking real early as she set the ball a lot shorter than she had been. Not quite getting the extension. As you can see here, the ball's going to hook real quick as it just barrels through the nose. Not really a speed adjustment. It just looked like she didn't extend the ball and get it going far enough to the right before it made its break.
And so the 27-year-old Rocket from Palmetto, Florida will try to cover, and she does.
Lisa had the opportunity to represent the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour or the Lady Professionals in the shootout earlier this year. She went up against Marshall Holman and Mark Roth and Earl Anthony, and I think that was just a thrill for her to be involved in that, and it's a thrill for any woman professional bowler to be recognized with those great players.
Imagine what she would have done had she not had that ankle injury.
You bet. She had that ankle injury just 3 weeks prior to that, so she could have done a lot better.
All right, this really was a disaster here, Leila, and how could something like this happen to somebody like Lisa?
It can happen to anybody, Steve. I hate to tell you. However, this looks like it was speed control here. Just not really. She got the ball out to the right. The ball hooked instantly to the left. And a little slower speed, actually, and a combination of that and hitting the dry area of the lane a little quicker.
4, 6, 9, 10.
The Greek church, as we call it, and
the
not
spires.
fun spare to try to make. As she goes for it, look at this. Oh, well, giving it a good try.
She now trails by 18, and Robin gets a break as Lisa leaves an open in the third.
Robin having 7 professional titles, 1 in 1988.
A messenger came back and knocked that 7 into oblivion.
A little nudge from the 5-pin. See a good shot of where Robin's playing. Once again, right around that second arrow, the ball going out, coming back in, breaking point, the 5-pin, kicking that 7 as the 7-pin just rolls over.
Her title was in October in Houston. A sudden death match over Alita.
No, I believe Robin's title, I hate to correct you, Steve, there, but Robin's title was in Tempe, Arizona in the fall.
Chris Zahn's lane's down there in Tempe.
That's right. Robin doesn't quite look like she's got the ball speed this evening as she has had earlier this week. Sometimes with television you have a tendency to slow up a little bit, and she's had problems in the past with the feel of the ball on television. So I think it looks almost like she doesn't quite have a good feel of the ball.
Lisa Wagner trails by 27 when she comes back after leaving that open in the third. And we'll be back to Canoga Park after this. In the fourth frame, Lisa Wagner trailing by 27. She had the Greek church split, left 5 pins up there. Now has to shake it off and come back, and she does with a strike.
Lisa, another player that adjusts her speed. Like you said, Lori Nichols used her speed as her adjustment. Lisa does this also. If she feels she needs to throw a little harder, she just increases that ball speed. She's able to do this a lot in her push away. If she pushes the ball away a little quicker, her feet actually catch up. Most of the women players get their speed from their footwork.
There's a double. That's a Lisa Wagner style mix.
Well, she definitely didn't want to go high as she had done previously on lane 9. She gave it a lot of room, a lot of speed, and the ball went out and held the line. And as the 5-pin falls over, the head pin goes against the wall and hits the 7. she's trying to help it along.
Robin's lead 17 prior to this strike in the 5th.
Now, once again, Robin ball speed picked up there in the 5th frame. She got a little bit more aggressive. She has a tendency to just kind of sit back and be a little too relaxed on television at times. She's feeling a little bit of pressure here because it is hometown. However, she does have the crowd behind her. She'd like to have that double right now.
You see that big goose egg in 3 for Lisa Wagner. That's what hurt her. Robin Romeo. Robin has a double. A lot of you folks watching back east may remember her as she grew up in Brooklyn, maybe in her neighborhood, old neighborhood. But Lisa Wagner's got resiliency of nothing else, and despite that open frame, she's not going to let it bother her game anymore.
Oh, you bet. Lisa's definitely one player that will pop back and throw strikes after an open. It's almost like getting more aggressive.
Here's an example. Though it was high, it was powerful, and she has a turkey. And she's down by 17.
Lisa really would like to win this particular event. She started out the 1988 season winning our first event down in Fort Myers, Florida. That put her on her way to going over that $100,000 mark, and she said this year she'd like to be the first woman to ever win $200,000. So she has her goals set very high.
7th frame.
Ball breaking a little high. Lisa not real happy with that as she kind of whips around. A good shot, actually. Ball speed good. The difference between a 4-pin, Steve, and a flush pocket hit is just a hair of speed difference and a higher hit. The ball breaking just a little earlier into the pocket than on the previous shot.
She needs the cover, and she gets it.
4 pins, 10 pins, they're such minute adjustments, but these players can do it.
Good look at Robin Romeo, the local favorite. We'll be right back. Robin Romeo and Lisa Wagner split prior to the television finals. Robin gets herself a turkey now, 3 in a row in the 7th frame. She leads by 28. Robin defeated Lisa 256 to 190 and then lost 256 to 212.
So they're actually 1-1. You might say this is the grudge match, wouldn't you think? But you know, in the past right now, those scores don't even make a difference because these players probably don't even remember that. They've bowled so many match games in their career that right now it just comes down to what frame they're in.
Robin gets a 4-bagger. That was a little on the light side, but it carried well. Up by 38.
Robin really becoming aggressive back in about the 5th frame as she has now thrown 4 strikes in a row. Playing once again right over that second arrow. Not a lot of break. Ripping that 5 into the 7. She's showing the emotion here.
Lisa needs a whole truckload of strikes. He was on a spare. Gets it in the 8th.
Lisa, a possible 231 game. However, she's not going to be able to beat Robin Romeo's possible 269. So Lisa Wagner definitely wants all the strikes she can get.
Look at the foundation that Robin has built in the bottom there. 4-bagger going into the 9th frame.
A good side shot of Lisa Wagner's game. 5-step approach. Pushes the ball out. Once again, textbook style. Getting that light hit.
That double cuts the deficit to 28 pins. She can get, as Leila mentioned, a 231 maximum total, but Robin up to 269 if she strikes all the way.
Well, Robin is finishing out first. Once again, she pretty much holds her own destiny. Looking to stay out of trouble, and that was a prime shot there to do it. She's now 38 pins ahead. Pretty much has the match closed out. Good pin count here
The endurance of the women bowlers is phenomenal. The pros have to go through so many games. It's actually, with all the pro-ams and all the practice, you bowl probably more like 60 games coming into the television sets.
We do. We start out the practice session in Pro-Am and then goes on looking for a good count. And that's enough to close out this match. As Robin Romeo just defeated Lisa Wagner.
She's used to these lanes, and she's the Southern California favorite.
And Robin's also used to bowling high games on television, as in the previous, in some of her previous appearances, she shot 289 and 286 on TV. She has a possible 269 right now.
Finishing up on lane 9. Yes, everything's falling her way.
Realistically, Steve, looking back at the scoreboard, Robin only missed the pocket one time in the first frame when she left a 4-7, a little bit off a high hit. However, she was close. Back in the 4th frame, we saw her leave a 4-pin. Other than that, she's thrown nothing but strikes.
Well, if you're going to leave a 10, this is the time to leave it. A 268 for Robin Romeo.
Doesn't look like a shoulder injury is bothering her this week, does it, Steve?
And there is the goose egg you saw on the 3rd frame for Lisa Wagner. She left that Greek church spare, and that set her back even with a turkey right after that.
Well, Lisa pretty much doesn't give up. She knows anything can happen. She's a veteran player, and that shot there on lane 10 in the 10th frame, she's pretty much just trying to get out of the way now. They rushed the shot, and ball sails a little bit on lane 10. At that point, when she threw that first ball, it was all over anyway.
We'll see plenty more of this later, you can be certain. And we've got 3 more weeks of winter tour action after this, all from Southern California and all on Sports Channel America, and we're delighted you're with us.
Lisa can finish up with a 210. And she pretty much just threw it pretty hard, got out of the way, gives a little smile to the crowd as she walks back.
So a 268 to 207 victory for Robin Romeo over Lisa Wagner. And we continue up the stepladder with 2 more matches to go. The local favorite from Southern California, Robin Romeo, will now go against the number 2 qualifier, Paula Drake. And we'll have that match coming up for you from Canoga Park, so stay with us. Our next match features Paula Drake on the left and Robin Romeo on the right. And Robin, who just eliminated Lisa Wagner 268 to 207, will go first. Robin, a powerfully packed athlete who says besides working on her bowling 12 months a year, she has to work on her dieting.
Robin has lost quite a bit of weight the past couple of years, taking time to work on nutrition. She believes in keeping herself very physically fit, both nutrition, her attitude. A lot of these things have changed for her in the past couple of years, and it's really showed in her game.
And now a good look at Paula Drake, the unflappable Paula Drake, who's noted for her accuracy. Although she said that in her hometown of Broken Arrow, before she came out for the winter tour, she was having a little trouble with the 10 pins.
She had no problems this week, and I tell you what, Steve, Paula likes this condition. This is the condition we saw her shoot 299 on in DeSoto, Texas. Very similar. Paula doesn't do a lot. 4-step approach. The ball starts the ball very low. Once again, low to the line. Leverage. Just comes straight through the ball. Very much the same type of line like Lisa and Lori was playing, except Paula even going more direct towards the pocket.
Speaking of DeSoto, Texas, you were very familiar with that. She beat you in that match, and you had a string of 8 strikes in a row also.
Yes. Yes, I did. I kept saying, oh!
What a messenger. Ladies and gentlemen, that had Western Union all over it. And what a mix for Paula Drake. Very easygoing lady out there.
Well, Paula definitely got the break here as that ball went through the nose, as we say. And let's just see what pin it was that came off the wall. I say that's 2-pin, and as it hits the 6 and the 6 hits the 10. Bye-bye.
Robin knows she'll have to do well after a shot like that by her opponent and leaves the 10.
Not quite getting the drive there as the 6-pin lays in the channel. Robin, a very good spare shooter. Her process to pick up this 10-pin, she throws almost a backup ball. It's where she's very good at changing her wrist positions to do different things.
And she covers the 10. So now she trails by 10.
So far in our telecast, Steve, all the players have finished as they qualified. Michelle Mullen in the number 6 position, Lori Nichols number 5, Lisa Wagner number 4, and Robin Romeo wants a strike here to try to ensure that she doesn't end up in the number 3 position.
There's a pocket hit. She's back striking in the 3rd frame.
Once again, Robin needing to stay aggressive, as sometimes she just has a tendency to let up just a little bit.
Paula uses that very strong wrist support on her hand, and she says that since she started using it, she has a little bit of arthritis in her right hand. The pain has been alleviated while she bowls.
The wrist devices, Steve, really do help the women and the men that use them to get more revolutions on the ball. Especially women, their wrists tend to be a little bit weaker than a man's wrist, and these just help you keep your hand in a your wrist in a straight position rather than breaking your wrist throughout your release. And Paula, that ball going very high through the beak, leaving herself with a 3-6 spare.
Second time she's been high in a row. Let's see how she adjusts.
Now you have to take in consideration, she has not been on the lanes for approximately 1 hour now, so the lanes have changed due to some of the lighting and the fact that the players have already bowled on them.
But once she finds her groove, though, she'll be hard to stop. She leads by 8 right now. Very straight, accurate shot. Here's a lady who overcame a real lack of confidence problem on the tour. She said she had weeks of depression on the tour, missing her youngsters. She says, I'll just go get a regular job. But she's overcome it and doing well. And she adjusted well, a little more toward the pocket, off the head pin, and she gets the strike. So Robin Romeo trails by 8 to Paula Drake. And as we keep going, this is what these young ladies are going after here at the Canoga Park Classic. There's the prize money. Stay with us. We'll see who takes the $5,000. Charlie and Linda Kinsler, the sponsors of Paula Drake, and this is the first event that they've sponsored her, and she's really proven them excellent judges of talent.
Well, they picked her up back in November at Samstown. They saw what a fine player she was as she finished 3rd there in the Samstown National Pro-Am, taking home a big check and a lot of money.
And now Robin. Pocket, strike. A double in the 4th frame. Leads now by 2.
You definitely feel the crowd behind Robin here as they just are going wild when she throws the ball.
She averaged 234.5 on this TV pair in the qualifying rounds of this tournament. 16 and 8 in match play.
Looking for number 3, and she gets it. Putting the pressure on Paula Drake. Paula must double to stay up here with Robin Romeo.
Trailing by 12. You know, she only began bowling at age 16, which is quite late. She's 27 years old now and has a couple of children, 8-year-old Lisa and 5-year-old Laura. But for a woman who's only been bowling 11 years, and I say only, for a pro, that's not a long time.
No, it's really not. Most pros are starting with They're very young. I personally started when I was 11 in the junior programs, and most of the players do start when they're sometime in their early teens. You can see here actually carrying a high hit as Paula's right again over that second arrow. Ball breaking a little sharply, but the head been coming out and tripping the 4-7. She's running a very determined player.
Go ahead.
One thing I like about Paula is her aggressiveness, and she has a lot of determination, and all around well-liked lady out here.
Paula Drake has a turkey now through 6 frames. And is back up by an 8-point lead, 8-pin lead as Robin Romeo comes out to the approach.
Robin, actually the shortest player of our 6 players on the telecast. She stands almost, she says, 5'5".
High hit. 6'10", waiting for her.
And that ball breaking a little high. Once again, I think it's Robin's speed that is crucial. And there's her sister, Tori, as she's looking on. Very similar. Tori gives a little smile.
Also, her little nephew, David's running around here somewhere. He's about 4 years old.
And her parents, Joan and Ray, who come out and watch Robin occasionally at tournaments, are big, big fans of hers.
She covers the spare. So Drake is up by 10.
Looking to start striking again.
This is a lady who has 95 700 series under her belt. And again, a very close match. Every single one of the matches so far have been close, and all have been decided in the 10th.
That's what we like to see out here on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. You know, it doesn't really matter if the scores are real high or real low, as long as it comes down to a very close match.
Good pocket strike for Robin Romeo. And we'll continue with this match between Paula Drake and Robin Romeo as we go into Drake's 7th frame right after this. Steve Grattan, Leila Wagner with you. Leila Wagner, that's a hard one to say sometimes
when you're having a hard time with
the
that
watery
name.
W usually. Anyway, here's Paula Drake, and one of the reasons she's been having a good tournament is that this is the first time she's not had to move her feet in any competition to adjust.
She said she moved her target on the lane versus her feet, which the conditions stayed pretty close to being the same throughout the week. She didn't have too much adjusting to make. Now, other players like myself had a harder time. I was making a lot of adjustments.
Well, though we enjoy your company here, many weeks we would love to see you out there and in the television crew.
That's right. I'd much rather be out there, Steve. Nothing personal.
Anyway, that Brooklyn hit leaves the 10. And she must pick up the spare, right to the channel, and she does. So Paula Drake leads by 9 going into frame number 8.
Paula's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Graff, would sure like to be out here this week to watch their daughter perform on Sports Channel America. However, they weren't able to come in from Oklahoma.
The 1987 Rookie of the Year. She was 15th in money winning last year, $18,605.
She said she just really loves being out here and competing. And boy, was that a mistake. She really hit inside her target, Steve. That was just a crucial error. Could be a mental error on her part. As you can see here, she has been playing like right around the second arrow. Looked like she really pulled the ball inside her target, not clearing the thumb hole. She did not get a clean release, and that ball just went left on her, leaving her off with a 5-10 split. She must hit this on the left side.
Here she goes after the split.
Oh!
She got it, too.
What a great conversion that was. It didn't even look like she was going to get it at first. As you see here, the ball in the left of the 5 pin as it just nips the 10 in the back.
Another coat of paint, and it wouldn't have done the job.
Romeo looking for the double to close up and take the lead by 3.
Made to order.
Now the foundation strike, that 9th frame strike.
She knows the lanes here. She bowls 1 to 2 hours a day here. Get yourself ready for the tour.
We do have our own lane maintenance man that does travel with the women's tour. However, he does come into the particular house, enhances the condition, but Robin knows the surroundings, and that helps.
Leading by 3, trying to get a turkey. He does. What a foundation.
A very important strike for Robin in the 9th frame. That puts Paula not able to even close out Robin. So Robin right now, once again, holds her own destiny.
Paula converting that split in the 8th frame, the 5-10. Now needs a strike. Again, she's high. That pin just touched the 9 and just dropped back.
A little high, like you said. The 4 pin almost coming up and getting the 9. Here it goes. It's just a scootin'.
Ooh.
However, it fell the wrong way. Fell to the left and not to the right. If Paula converts this spare and strikes out, she has a possible 234 game.
He does convert. Now, Paula says she may have been spoiled in these situations. She's been making adjustments at the line the entire tournament, and she's frankly says she's been getting away with a lot being high. She's gotten a good mix. The thing is carried well. She's gotten good kickbacks off the side and has come in 2nd place so far.
Well, I think that happens with most players, Steve. Throughout a week, you find that it's your week, as we say, and when things are going your way, that's exactly what happens. You carry almost everything.
There's the strike she needs desperately to start the 10th.
One more strike, she does force Robin Romeo to at least spare a good count and spare in the 10th frame.
Paula Drake knows she has to continue striking here in the 10th. That's 2 in a row.
Now, her last 2 shots, Steve, she looked very aggressive. Once again, I think she was a little tentative in previous shots, especially on lane 10.
She gets a lot of loft on her ball.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, that's a determined look. Trying to close out with 3 in a row high again. Brooklyn side, and doesn't do it. 3-pin stay.
And not a bad game. 233, however, it just might not be enough if Robin Romeo spares. She needs 6 spare strike to win.
She will break the string of finishing in the order that they qualified in. Qualified 3rd. If she does that. Here it comes. Here it is. In the pocket. But she still has to convert this.
Yes, she does. And like I mentioned before, we don't usually see Robin Romeo miss too many 10s. She uses the backup to actually pick it up. Very straight ball.
All Paula can do is just watch what happens. Here it is.
Come on, Robin!
She does it.
She needs at least 7 pins on this next ball to close Paula Drake out.
The tension here is very great because this is her home lanes. All the trappings for good luck, as you saw there. Robin Romeo, she needs a 7 to win. Here we go. Robin Romeo delights the home crowd with a 237 and a victory over Paula Drake. It wasn't easy, and it came down to the last ball, as most of our matches have. But Paula Drake takes home $2,000 for her work here at Canoga Park. So again, the final 237 to 233. And we'll have one more match coming up for you between this lady, Robin Romeo, who gives the high five to her sister Tori, and Renee Fleming, the #1 qualifier. So hometown girl continues to make good here at Canoga Park as we begin the winter tour. And we're delighted you're with us on Sports Channel America. We will continue with the LPBT competition throughout this month of February. We'll be in Fullerton, California next week, San Diego the following week, and then San Dimas. In a moment, you'll see Robin Romeo trying to continue up the stepladder against the #1 qualifier, Renee Fleming. And Leila has made her way down to the approach with the #1 qualifier. So, Leila, let's go to Leila with Renee Fleming.
Renee, it's only your second appearance here in the #1 position. Tell us your thoughts going into this match.
Nervous. I'm just hoping that I bowl good.
Well, you also won your first title from that #1 position, and there's a few other similarities between that tournament and this one. Tell us a little bit about those.
Well, the first one in Albuquerque, I didn't really know for sure what, because I just trying to bowl the best I can, and I was lucky to stay in that position, so I hope I stay this way again.
Well, I understand you weren't going to come to that tournament, and you weren't going to come here. Is that true?
Yes. No, I told my sponsor that I wasn't sure if I was going to come for the first one, and he says, well, why don't you just go for the first one and come back home, you know, like we did before? And I said, well, okay. So, I don't know.
Well, that seems to be two things in your favor. I don't think I'd want to be your opponent. However, Robin Romeo looks really hot. Good luck to you. Now back to you, Steve.
Thank you, Leila. She is such an intense bowler, as you mentioned. And now here's the other finishers in the money. Patty Branham, 875. Diana Davenport took home 900. Leanne Barrett, 9 1/4. Carol Giannotti from Australia, 950. As we continue throughout the entire list, the top finishers. Now you'll notice there are 24. Betty Morris had to split with Vicki Montgomery because Betty was snowed in, believe it or not, up in Lancaster, California. The snow has taken place out here this week, folks, down to as low as 500 feet. So Betty couldn't get here for the final day of qualifying, and she had to split with the alternate Vicki Montgomery. Interesting. We are going to have a match for the championship of the Canoga Park Classic between Renee Fleming and Robin Romeo. So stay with us on Sports Channel America. We'll be right back. Earlier, before these matches, Robbie Robinson presented Judy Sutar the 1988 Robbie Award, as voted on by the bowlers, the player who best exemplifies the image of ladies pro bowling. And congratulations to Judy Sutar.
My roommate, and
Yes.
been out here many, many years.
Good Kansas Cityan.
Yes.
And now we're ready for the final match, Renee Fleming and Robin Romeo. Robin, who finished third in qualifying, Renee, who finished first. And Robin, with the home crowd behind her, will continue her stepladder climb. She's already defeated Paula Drake and Lisa Wagner, two formidable opponents.
And she's averaging 252.5 for her 2 matches thus far, meaning she has thrown a lot of strikes, Steve.
She makes it seem effortless. And she starts with a strike.
Our first look at Renee Fleming. She's 34 years old. She started bowling at the age of 20, which, as we were talking about earlier, is very, very late for a professional bowler.
Well, she didn't have much bowling in the Philippines, and then she came to Oklahoma City and took up the sport and took to it. She's got natural strength and power.
Very, very strong player.
You
As
watch
we'll
that.
talk about her style a little bit later.
High hit still with the power to come through and get the mix and get the strike.
Actually, not a good shot by Renee. She fell off balance at the line. And as we say here, she's very late with the ball. She hits the line and then pulls the ball through with her arm, and she fell off balance, hitting inside of her target, but she got away with it, and the head pin tripped that 4-7. And you'll see a lot of reaction out of this lady.
She doesn't need a lot of balance. You'll watch that left arm drag down. She just doesn't lift it. There's her earnings in her last year in an 88. There's that arm staying down. There's that right one spinning it and putting it through.
Once again, Renee, a very direct player. Seemed to be that was the way to go this week. There were a few players that liked to cross the boards that did make it. However, the majority of the players were trying to go very direct to the pocket. Just down the boards, as we say.
With that double to start, Renee Fleming leads Robin Romeo by 10 as Robin begins her second frame. Each of them doubled to start the final match, and we're even.
Robin's coach, Bob Matarasso, has got to be very happy with Robin's success thus far this evening. She's taking a deep breath, calm her nerves a little bit. She has to be feeling the pressure of being here at home.
In their only match play event so far in the tournament, Robin, who had a high game this week of 279, lost to Renee 224 to 202. A turkey to start for Robin Romeo. She goes up by 10.
Now, Steve, once again, being that we have an extra player on the telecast, Renee Fleming has been waiting a long time in the wings before she's able to come out. That's a long time to sit over there and think about it.
Although her concentration is second to none. You alluded to that in the pre-match interview. You saw her great scores on the TV pair this week. Each frame to her is an entire event.
Getting that ball to hold that line with that speed that she has. She doesn't belly the ball any. You can see here her approach. She has 5 steps, actually starts the ball late, carries the ball through 2 steps. Normally you would just carry it 1, but her left arm low at her side, a lot of knee bend, and then she pulls it through. A very, very strong player. And she likes this condition. She says this is what she's used to bowling on at home. If you can't bowl on your own condition, then you shouldn't be out here.
She bowls in 3 leagues back in Oklahoma. She won 18 matches during the week, had 5 losses and a tie.
Getting a little off balance again, however, she slapped her hands and looked like she lost her earring or her bracelet. She does like jewelry.
A 4-bagger to start for Renee Fleming, so she again passes Robin Romeo by 10. Robin with that little good look kiss to the ball.
I think she's blowing in the thumb hole.
Well, I'll tell you what. Prior to this match, she really did.
Did she really?
Yes, she's not against little superstition, and she backs off. She wants to get the right feel on her hand.
That's right. Sometimes if you wait a little bit too long, or there could be a little bit movement by a cameraman, you never know exactly what breaks the concentration, but you're better off to step back, regroup, and then proceed.
Nice effortless movement, nice effortless strike.
So far, we've seen nothing but strikes from these 2 players in the first 4 frames. What a great match we have going here.
She had 2 800 series in 1 year. That's not an easy thing to do in a career, but
this is Robin's 11th year on tour. Once again, 7 career titles, 1 in 1988 last year, looking for her first one in 1989.
what this tournament has done for her career earnings is put her over the $200,000 mark. High Brooklyn, and leaves a bit of a picket fence.
Actually raising up on that shot, Steve, as you can see here, she doesn't extend. She actually cuts the ball off short, raises up, and this was the result. The ball hooked real early on her, falling off balance, as you can see here, and she just didn't get away with that one. Not an easy spare, the 3-6-10.
She does pick it up. And so after starting with a 4-bagger, she's working on a spare in the 5th frame and a 107 score.
Now Renee Fleming looking for her 5th strike.
May I ask you, does that long hair that goes down to her belt, does that affect her in any way?
I don't think so. The way she has it tied back, it doesn't affect her.
And her string ends at 5, leaving the 7 pin.
Looking for that high hit again. The head pin coming off the wall, however, this time tripped the 4, but it didn't trip the 7. Renee's sponsor, Charlie Schlageter, was trying to get in from Oklahoma. However, he didn't make it this evening. And he's usually on hand along with her husband. Or they were there when she won her first 2 titles.
She covers it. They were a little afraid even if they were to make it into Los Angeles, traffic would prevent them from getting up to Canoga Park from the airport. So Renee Fleming leads by 2 pins as we begin the 6th frame. She has 2 children, Sabrina and James. She's very proud of them.
She says her in-laws right now are taking care of them while she's away.
We talked about the fact that the tour is not all glamour. It's a lot of work, but there is the gratification of competitiveness. You get to see the world, you get to travel a lot, meet new people, and you can make a living at something you like to do. And if you're good at it, your self-esteem skyrockets.
Well, that's right. And I tell you, the friends and the camaraderie between the players out here, the best friends I have are out here on tour. I respect their games, they respect mine, and it's just a great feeling and something that you're out here. I've been out here 10 years, and Rob and Romeo 11 years. You gain a lot of friends that way.
Robin on a spare here in the 6th frame. So they're matching each other frame for frame.
Right now, starting her string over. Now that 7-pin count could come back to haunt Robin. She just needs to take 1 frame at a time. Like I said before, she's into nutrition now. Everything's been going good for her. She says, I've got my own business. I feel confident. Sometimes when your confidence is good in other areas of your life, your bowling just turns around for the better.
She says, but give me a break. I'm Italian. I love to eat. I've always got a battle pushing myself away from the table. She gets a double in the 7th frame and leads by 8.
Once again, a great shot here for the double as she just flushes it right over the 10th board. As you can see there, very little break, all 10 down.
In October of '87, Renee Fleming won the Hammer Eastern Open in Virginia Beach. That was her last win.
Renee with 2 career titles to her credit, running that one out.
And she leaves the 10.
Really thought she threw that one well. However, the ball didn't quite break hard enough. This is about the first shot I've seen that she really didn't fall off balance, Steve. She extended good through that shot, and the 6th pin tried to nudge that 10, but it didn't quite hit it hard enough. Her reaction was, oh, she knows she can't let up against Robin Romeo.
Robin not even watching her. Renee covers.
That's the intensity of these players. A lot of times you'll find that your opponents just sit down, try to get into their own game, think about what they're doing.
Back in November, Renee teamed with Bob Benoit at Samstown and won the Ladies Mixed Gold Rush, so that wasn't a bad title. Picked up some cash there.
A phone ringing in the background. Renee taking a little extra time. Real solid week for Renee. 3rd after the 1st round, moving into the 2nd position for the 2nd and 3rd round. She took over the 1st position round 4, and that's where we see her tonight. And my, can opener there, as she just split the pins apart. That was an example of her power.
Robin Romeo has a double going into the 8th frame.
Robin Romeo right now just concentrating on to continue her strike. Look at her grip. She has a spread index finger, helps with a little bit more rotation. Oh! And a good shot as the 6-pin just wraps around the 10. Bad break there for Robin Romeo. Solid 10, as we say. The ball's driving very hard, and watch, right at the last moment, the 6-pin just flies around the 10.
By converting the spares, he leads by 7.
Close match we have here for the championship.
Every one of our matches have been decided down at the final frame. And that's the way we like it.
Robin Romeo have an incredible evening thus far this evening. 252 average for her first 2 games. Looking for that foundation strike here in the 9th frame.
Good extension and good pocket hit, and an unfortunate ring and 7 there just taunting her.
A swish in 5. However, it actually flew in front of the 7 instead of into the 7. Once again, another bad break. Both her shot in the 8th and the 9th frame could have gone.
That gives her a 245 maximum if she spares and then strikes out.
Renee Fleming has a 259 possibility. So Renee Fleming can right now walk up and win this title.
And the difference in prize money is the difference between $5,000 and $2,500. There's the situation. And she can erase that 6-pin deficit very easily.
Looking to get a little bit lucky. Like you said, it was high. She pulled this ball inside her target, as you can see. As she releases it, she'll be inside that 2nd arrow. And the ball heading right to the left. She really helped that one along. She's talking to it there, and
well, now it's just back to Robin Romeo, because the most Renee can get now is a 239.
Renee looking over to our tournament director, Fran Wolf. There was a pin in the channel on lane 10. We call that dead wood. That must be removed according to our WIBC rules. As you can see it there. If she were to hit that pin prior to hitting those other 2 pins and get the spare, then it would not count. So that pin must be removed.
We can review the fact that we started with Lori Nichols defeating Michelle Mullen 247 to 226. Moving up the ladder, Lisa Wagner then defeated Lori Nichols 245 to 244 in one real close match. And Romeo kept moving up, beating Wagner, beating Drake, and now taking on Renee Fleming. And we're waiting for that. This Fran Wolf, the tournament director, has gotten the word that that deadwood is removed from the channel. We're ready to go. Working to try to cover the spare in the 9th frame. She does.
Now Renee Fleming needs 2 strikes to force Robin to get 2 strikes.
This is a woman whose power and strength come naturally. She does not work on it. Her concentration impeccable.
Good shot. She stayed with that shot. Didn't fall off balance. As you can see here, she actually stays with it. not pulling it like she did on the previous shot in the 9th frame. The ball just sets in the pocket. A little emotion.
Leila, do you think she knows the situation now? The 2 times she won, she didn't realize she won till they told her.
That's right. I have a feeling she knows now. She looked over to Fran Wolf a little earlier.
Needs this double, needs this double, needs this double.
Oh, and I tell you
Solid
what,
10.
she couldn't have thrown that one any better, Steve. She just ripped that 6 around the 10. However, once again, she did fall off balance a little bit, but in her game, I don't think it matters.
Now Robin will need a mark to win. Renee covers.
229 for Renee. Robin Romeo needs a spare to win. You'll see her take a little extra time.
All right, you
Deep
won
breath.
in Tacoma, you in your own backyard. Is there extra pressure? You can be certain there's extra pressure when you're expected to win in your hometown. Leila won a couple of years ago in Tacoma. She's from Seattle. And a mark is needed to defeat this lady. Whoa! Came back and wobbled the 2-pin. This pair's examining. A little light in the pocket. Some good pin action. The 8 wrapped around, knocked down the 4-pin, wobbled the 2, and the king pin stands straight up. The 2 comes back. Renee Fleming will try to keep her concentration. It's hard to look. I don't think she's going to watch. She might just go by the reaction of the crowd. Meanwhile, this mark wins it. That's it. Hometown girl wins it. Robin Romeo. It was not an easy mark. She had some concern about a chop. And now, no matter what, 7 pins. Robin Romeo's got everybody all hepped up here. Renee already finished with a 229. Here's the formalities. Oh my goodness. 6. A tie. He needed 7. I thought she had it on that split. .229. And now we go to a tie situation. The last thing you needed was that split. Now we go back to the 9th frame. So we were a little premature in assuming that she could do the 7. You can't get any tighter than this. We go back to the 9th. And here's Robin. She had destiny in her grasp. She has to shake it off. She gets the strike. That's what she had to do. All she needed was a 7 before she got the 6. And there was a little confusion at first. Now Renee has to match that strike. What a way to start the winter tour. A tie in the opening competition, the Canoga Park Classic. Pocket hit, she gets a strike. Leila, the pressure's on.
That's right, Steve. We are the crucial situation here, a tie. She needs to strike out. Whatever she does, she forces Robin to do too.
I might mention that Leila is now on the approach, ready to interview the winner, so Emotional? You bet. Very light. And there's a washout. First one of the entire action.
Renee getting a little bit fast on that shot, Steve. Didn't get it up to the pocket. As you can see here, the ball hitting far out to the right of her target. Never makes it up to the head pin.
Tough spare. But it's makeable, and she's very off to the left. She didn't hit the head pin.
Situation is this. Robin needs a mark once again.
Difference in $2,500 in prize money for first and second place. Here it is, Brooklyn side.
That's
Gets
a
the
winner.
9. That's all she needed.
She needed 9 to win.
It took her 2 frames longer, but she did it. She still has to finish to make this a legal game, but it's all over, and Robin Romeo has step-laddered her way from third to the title in her own backyard. And she makes the spare to finish it up. After a tie, the additional 2 frames go to Robin Romeo. They both strike on the first additional frame. Meanwhile, because of the spare, the rules state you must finish. And if you're going to leave that ring in 10, do it there after you've won. So Robin Romeo comes through for the hometown crowd. There's her nephew. he knew his aunt was going to do it. And she wins the $30,000 Canoga Park Classic and the $5,000 first prize. That's how it looked in our additional frames after the tie. Leila standing by with Renee Fleming. Let's go to Leila.
Renee, a disappointing loss here. You looked a little nervous during the first part of the game, especially. Your timing didn't look as strong.
During the practice, I never was comfortable during the practice. So, and even in practice on the lanes that we were practicing, you know, before I come out, and I never got comfortable with the shot or anything with the ball or anything, and it didn't matter which ball I went, and I couldn't get to the line very, you know, solid like I did all week, and my back has been bothering me, so it's just been, I don't know, I'm still happy for it, you know, happy.
Well, you had a great tournament. Congratulations on a fine second place finish. Back to you, Steve.
Thank you, Leila. We could not get any closer, as we were talking about in the opening night of the Canoga Park Classic. And there's the winner, Robin Romeo, and we'll return to Southern California for the presentation of the check and the trophy to Robin Romeo after these. Stay with us on Sports Channel America. The cheers directed at this lady, Robin Romeo, the winner of the $30,000 Canoga Park Classic to start the winter tour of the LPBT Tour. And I'll tell you, there's a very excited gentleman standing next to her, the man who's going to make an important presentation, the winning $5,000 check. Let's go to General Manager of the Canoga Park Lanes, Gene Geigel. Gene?
Thank you. Robin, on behalf of Canoga Park Bowl, I present this check to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a fabulous tournament. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene. I just want to thank Canoga Park Bowl for having us, and this has been my hometown, my home house for the last 11 years, and I hope we can come back next year. Thank you.
Robin, you needed 7 pins that last match. Did you know that, or what exactly happened? Tell us.
Well, yeah, I knew I needed 7 pins, and I just wanted to get up and throw a strike, but after I threw the first ball in the 10th so bad, I didn't want to leave a bucket because I almost left it the first time. So I just, you know, threw it out a little further. I think I let up on my speed, too. So I just can't believe I did that.
Well, a fine performance and a great champion here at home. It's got to feel great.
It feels terrific. And I just want to thank everybody out there. This is for you.
Now remember, this is a lady who had a separated shoulder earlier, just a month or so ago, and also a wrist injury a few years back. She just shakes him up and keeps on coming.
Thank you.
Robin Romeo, the winner here at Canoga Park. And coming in second, Renee Fleming. Coming in third was Paula Drake, then Lisa Wagner, and Lori Nichols, and Michelle Mullen. So, Leala, it was close all the way.
It was.
We're delighted that you were with us here on Sports Channel America for the LPBT Winter Tour. And next week, we'll be at the LaMode Classic in Fullerton, California, here on the Winter Tour. We hope you'll join us then. For Leila Wagner, I'm Steve Grant. Thank you so much for being with us on Sports Channel America. And again, Robin Romeo, the winner of the Canoga Park Classic here in Canoga Park, California.